Hey dark-themed comics fans! Are you ready to take your love for comics and pop culture to the next level? Introducing DTC Shop, your ultimate destination for custom-designed t-shirts and awesome digital comics. Whether you're into horror icons, anime legends, or the dark and gritty world of the boys, we've got something for every fan. Our high-quality, 100% cotton tees let you wear your fandom with pride, while our digital comics bring you epic stories you'll be hard-pressed to find anywhere else. So why wait? Head over to DTC Shop now and gear up with the coolest merch and some of the most underrated comics in the game. Because being a fan isn't just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And now, our feature presentation.
When Fright Night hit theaters in 1985, it quickly became a cult classic, blending horror, humor, and genuine heart in a way that set it apart from its vampire movie contemporaries. Written and directed by Tom Holland, the film followed teenager Charley Brewster as he discovered that his charming next-door neighbor, Jerry Dandridge, was a vampire. The mix of 1980s camp, classic monster tropes, and clever self-awareness made it ripe for expansion beyond the screen. And that's exactly what happened, though few remember that Fright Night also lived on in the pages of a comic book series that continued the story long after the credits rolled. The Fright Night comic series was published by Now Comics between 1988 and 1990 and ran for a total of 22 issues, with an additional 3-issue miniseries titled Fright Night Part 2 that tied into the film sequel. Much like the movie, the comic captured a balance between horror and humor, leaning more into the supernatural antics of its characters while also expanding the mythology surrounding vampires, demons, and other creatures of the night. One of the most fascinating aspects of the comic series was how it handled the fate of evil Ed Thompson, Charley's best friend who was bitten and seemingly killed by Peter Vincent in the first movie. The film's ending famously teased his survival when evil Ed's voice taunted Charley from the darkness, implying that he might have lived on as a vampire. The comic confirmed this suspicion. Evil Ed was alive, or undead, to be precise, fully transformed into a vampire, and remained a recurring character throughout the series. In the comics, Evil Ed became both a comedic foil and a tragic figure. His personality retained the same sarcastic, awkward energy from the movie, but now twisted through the lens of his vampiric condition. He oscillated between being Charley's enemy and, occasionally, a reluctant ally. This characterization added emotional depth to his arc, portraying Ed as a victim of circumstance who struggled to reconcile his humanity with his monstrous transformation. Meanwhile, Jerry Dandridge's legacy loomed large over the series, even after his supposed destruction. The comics introduced new vampires and supernatural threats that picked up where Dandridge left off, keeping Charley and Peter Vincent, the TV horror host turned vampire hunter, constantly on edge. The creative team at Now Comics expanded the scope of the story far beyond the suburban confines of the original film, taking readers into eerie Gothic locales and introducing creatures ranging from ancient vampire lords to demonic cultists. Visually, the Fright Night comics maintained a pulpy, vibrant aesthetic that fit perfectly with its blend of horror and humor. Artists like Neil Vokes and Kevin West brought energy and expression to every panel, giving the series a look that was distinct from the grim realism of other horror comics of the era. It wasn't afraid to be colorful, campy, and unapologetically weird, much like the film itself. The Fright Night comics also served as a fascinating example of how adaptations can build upon their source material without betraying it. They managed to stay faithful to the tone and spirit of the movie while introducing new lore and continuing unfinished storylines. Evil Ed's fate, in particular, remains one of the most satisfying payoffs for fans who wanted closure after the ambiguous ending of the film. Unfortunately, the series' run was cut short when Now Comics ceased operations in the early 1990s. Despite its loyal fanbase, Fright Night never found a lasting home in the comic world, and its issues have since become collector's items, fetching high prices among horror and comic enthusiasts alike. Today, Fright Night remains a beloved cult franchise with a 2011 remake, a 2013 reboot in Fright Night 2: New Blood, and occasional rumblings of new projects. But for fans who crave a deeper dive into the lore, including what really happened to the ever-polarizing Evil Ed, the Now comic series stands as an essential piece of Fright Night history. It's a testament to how even short-lived comic runs can expand and enrich a beloved story, keeping the undead alive for just a little longer.